Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. I'm running a little bit behind today. My apologies. I didn't get the event made on YouTube until just now. So my YouTube crowd is just now starting to trickle in. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a day. Not a bad day, just I kind of slept late because it's still kind of cloudy and gross, and I was just not ready to get up. So therefore, I'm a little bit behind. So my apologies. But hi to all of you. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm so glad that you let me be a part of your week. Fridays are my favorite day of the week, and I cannot wait to get started with this Feel Good Friday show. Yes, it's Feel Good Friday. So for those of you who are new and don't know what Feel Good Friday is, let me tell you all about it. So Feel Good Friday is all about easy, fun, instant gratification jewelry. Everything you see on Fridays is relatively easy to put together. I don't focus on techniques on Fridays. I just focus on the fun because I want to send you into your weekend inspired and not bogged down by technique, because I know you get a lot of those lives all week long. We focus on technique on Tuesdays. There are so many other artists that do Facebook Lives throughout the week and YouTube Lives as well, and teach you so many things. On Fridays, I don't want to teach you anything, right? That was my favorite day of school too, because I always had like that one teacher who always like made Fridays fun, right? That's what I'm all about. I want to make Fridays fun so that you go into the weekend inspired, but not feeling like you need to practice some sort of technique. You can just go and make instant gratification jewelry that is beautiful and fun to wear. And if you want to grab the kits, everything you see in Feel Good Friday shows is available to purchase as a kit in my Etsy shop. So you just go grab the kit from the Etsy shop. I mail it to you super quick. I'm as fast as I can possibly be. What happens after it gets in UPS or USPS's hands is out of my control, but I do my part as quickly as possible so that you can get your kits and put them together and enjoy your jewelry. And you can always come back and watch these on replay, because I don't include instructions, right? A lot of you know that, but some of you who are new, who are just first time buying a kit from me, I don't include instructions. I don't have time to do written instructions, but I feel like it's not necessary because we do these classes together, right? We do these Facebook Lives and the YouTube Lives together, and you can always watch those in replay. So once you get your kit, you can come back and rewatch me put together that particular piece. You can fast forward through the chit chat. You can get right down to what you're looking for and follow step by step. So, all right. Whew, that was a lot of information. Let's see. Anything else that I need to tell you guys? Let's see. So I'm working on a live coming up with Sam. So that'll be coming up soon. I don't know the exact date on that yet, but Sam and I are putting together a fun little project to do with you guys. I'm working on a kit with Nile. That's in the works. Let's see. Oh, there's a snack shenanigans on the horizon. I've got to mail off Sam's portion of the snack shenanigans, but it's ready to go. So just stay tuned for that. For those of you who don't know what snack shenanigans are, snack shenanigans is completely unrelated to jewelry. Completely. I mean, there's nothing jewelry related about it. I eat gross snacks, so you don't have to. I eat gross snacks and make crazy faces because they're nasty, and you get to laugh at it. It is just a for fun show that I don't do during the regular Facebook Lives, so you don't miss out on a project. I do it in addition to, and it's free and it's fun. And this time around will be no different. There are gross things, and this time I'm sharing my gross things with Sam. So all right, I think that's it as far as everything is concerned. Now, our Feel Good Friday shows always start out with a maker mix. The maker mixes are just little bead mixes that I put together with things that I don't have enough of to make full kits out of, but I still want to share the goodness and the goodies. So I put those together in maker mixes. They all have a name. They all have a theme. And you buy the maker mix, create a piece of jewelry, right? And then post it. And you are automatically entered in to win a goodie bag of goodies. That's what a goodie bag is from me. And I promise I won't share my nasty snacks with you. Only good things. All good things, right? All right, so many people here. I love it. I love it. So good to see everybody. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to show you the maker mix, and then we're going to get started. I got lots of earrings projects, earrings and bracelets. That's the name of the game today. So let's get turned around so that we can get started with our day. All right, so let's start out with that maker mix. All right. So this is our little maker mix, and you're going to find that there's a little bit of a theme today in our kits and in our maker mix. So our little maker mix here has some 4-leaf clovers in it, some little Celtic knots, lots of green. There's some beautiful check glass in here, these vintage check glass drops. There are some gemstones in here. There are the Unakite beads. Those are so pretty. Lots of different kinds of check glass in this. And it's just a sweet, beautiful little mix, right? Because I've got spring on the brain. I've got St. Patrick's Day on the brain. And yeah, so this is our little maker mix for the week. It even has these little baby gemstones. Look at those little babies. Aren't they cutie? So cute. So there's a key. It's just got a lot of fun in it. So this is our maker mix for the week. All right, now before we get down and dirty with the projects, I want to show you something that is a restock. Okay, so I'm not going to show you how to do this. We actually did this back in December. This is a macrame bracelet that we did in December that I had in a bunch of different colors, but I didn't have a green one, and everybody asked for a green one. So I put together this one in kit form. And if you want to see the replay of how to put this together, you'll have to go back. I believe it was December 17th was the live that we did. It was a Feel Good Friday show where we put these together, and I had them in different colors. The only ones from the original show that are left in stock, there is one red and one apricot colored one. And then these are listed separately as green. So these are restocks. I'm not going to show you how to do it today, but we did do it in the past. You use the nylon cord to do macrame. It's just square knots, and you add in all of your beads. And then this one has a Tree of Life button as your clasp. So this is a kit today, but it's actually considered a restock. Okay, so it's just green, and it's really beautiful. I got these beads from Sam. So pretty. They're that frosty, but they also have like that blue. Kind of how things are feeling right now. It's still frosty and snowy, but like we've got green on the brain. So anyway, these are in the shop. I'm not going to show you how to do them, but you can go back and watch the live on the December 17th show to see. All right, so let's move on because I do have other bracelets. I've got 2 other bracelets to show you, and I am going to do those step by step. So let's put one of them together. We're going to start out with this deep green and antique brass. So this is our little Celtic knot charm bracelet. And don't forget, guys, everything that you need to put these kits together is included in your kit. So you don't have to use anything from your own stash, right? So this is a leather project that also includes a button. Everybody's buttons will be different, but the colors of the metal here are antique brass. There are some little chain sections. We're going to put this together real quick. I'll show you. Okay. This is a cute little bracelet that you can turn into a charm bracelet if you want. Includes these little shamrock beads. This is not the last time you're going to see these today. I love these. Love these. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little beaded chain section with some of these really beautiful deep green check glass beads and a larger round check glass bead. And we're actually going to put some bead caps on it. Right, so we're going to do all of that with just simple loops on eye pins. Okay, one of them's already done. We're going to do the rest of them together. So I'm going to drop this bead down onto an eye pin, and I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, and we're just going to do a simple loop. Hi, everybody. Everybody's saying hi. Hi, guys. Hi, Catherine. And Nicole says the leather speaking wand is language. Yes, it is. All right, so I'm just going to bend the wire right where it exits the bead. Since I'm not doing a wrapped loop, I don't need the space for the wrap, so I'm just bending it right over the bead. I'm going to come in with my cutter tool, and I'm going to trim off. You want to leave yourself about 1/4 of an inch for a simple loop, so just go ahead and trim off. Oh, gosh, sorry, you guys. And then we're going to come in with our round nose pliers, and we're going to grab that wire, and we're going to roll back towards ourself, back towards the bead to finish off our loop, right? So we're going to do that with the others. So I'm just going to thread this on. We're going to repeat. Nothing wrong with seeing that a couple of times, right? I feel like simple loops are kind of a struggle. So bending the wire, coming in with our chain nose, or I'm sorry, not with our chain nose, but with our cutter tool. And roll back and close up our loop. Okay, so I've got 3 of these, but I still need to do my big bead. So we're going to do the big bead and then we'll put all of this together. So I'm going to thread onto an eye pin, a metal bead, a bead cap, our large check glass round bead. Look how pretty that is. And another bead cap and a metal bead. Okay. And we're just going to do a simple loop on this guy as well. So again, just grabbing the wire, bending the wire. I'm going to trim off. I don't have to trim off much. And then a simple loop on this guy as well. Okay. So we've got our simple loops and our beads here. So now we're just going to connect these to each other. Okay. So to connect these, I am going to just use, I'm not going to use jump rings in between here. I'm just going to use the loops that we created. So I'm going to very carefully open up the loops that we made. So you twist those open. Don't pull them apart. Just treat it like a jump ring, twist it open, thread on a bead, and then you're going to close that back. Okay. We're going to open, thread on a bead, and twist to close that back. And then we're going to add our large bead to that as well. So we've made ourselves a cute little beaded chain section here. Okay. Now our beaded chain section is going to need a jump ring, and we're going to attach that to our button. So our button is a shank style button. I can take my jump rings, twist to open, and then I'm going to thread that on to the last bead in our little beaded chain, and I'm going to close that back. Okay. So we've got part of our bracelets already ready. All right. Now on the other end of this, I'm going to put our little chain section and a jump ring. Okay. The chain section just kind of adds extra texture and interest visually to this. So another jump ring next to our large bead, and thread that on, whoops, to our little chain section. Now our little chain section can be an opportunity to add charms if you want to, right? You've got a couple of places here, well, more than just a couple of places in this bracelet overall where you can add charms, but this is a great little option because you can hang charms from those rings if you want to. Okay. Now, the rest of our charms, one of them is a check glass bead that also has that kind of fire polish kiss to it. In vintage green, I just did a wrapped loop on it. We've got a Celtic knot here on a jump ring. And then last but not least, we've got our little shamrock and a bell bead here. And I'm going to wire wrap this to the bell bead, and then we're going to attach these to our leather. So I'll show you how to do that in just a second, but let's do the wire wrapped loop on this. So we're going to thread this guy onto a head pin. Okay. And we're going to do a wrapped loop, and we're going to wrap it directly to our bell bead. So the bell bead is just a large hole bead that has a loop on it. So I'm going to use my chain nose pliers. Now this time, instead of a simple loop, I got to bend the wire over the top of the pliers because we need that room for the wraps. So I'm going to bend the wire over the top of the pliers. Okay. And when I take the pliers away, you can see I've got that room in there. That's the perfect amount of space for our wrapped loop. So I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. I'm going to take the wire up and over, and then I need to rotate the pliers so that I can take that wire over to the other side to close up our loop. Now, before we do the wraps, we're going to thread this on to that loop. So I'm going to take the tail end of that wire, stick it through that loop, and then I'm just going to kind of wiggle a little bit and snap those two together. So there's no jump ring here. I use my bent chain nose pliers to hold on to that loop, and then I'm going to wire wrap in the space between the loop and the top of our bead. And I've got enough room for about 3 or 4 wraps. Looks like I've got room for 4 wraps. All right, so once you get your wraps, then you want to come in with your cutter tool and you're going to trim off the excess wire. And if you need to tuck that in with your pliers, definitely want to do that so it doesn't get hung on your clothing. You can see how that little piece of wire is sticking out. I just kind of give it a squeeze with my pliers to close up that space. And now we've got a little charm. That's so cute. So, so cute. All right, so now the rest of this is really easy to put together. We're going to take our piece of leather cord here, and you've got plenty of leather. This is going to be the part where you're going to adjust the length of your bracelet. So if you need your bracelet to be a little bit longer, you can adjust where you put your knots in this. And you can also add jump rings to this as well. We're going to take our leather and we're going to thread it on to the last loop of our little chain section, and we're going to find the middle. Okay, and then we're just going to tie an overhanded knot by looping around our finger. And then we want to pull that knot down close to the loop. That's okay, Rita. We still love you. Brooke says, quick, hit the heart button multiple times to cancel it. Hit that heart button anyway, y'all. Angie says your wire wraps are seriously the bomb diggity. I love that. And I love that you said bomb diggity because somebody else was talking about how this green color reminds them of the 90s. So that's definitely an appropriate exclamation. I love it. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to thread on our charms. Now this is another place where you can thread on any charms you want to, right? You've got plenty of room. I'm going to thread on my jump ring with my green check glass bead. I'm going to thread on my jump ring, or no, I'm going to thread on my large bell bead. And these are going on to both strands of the leather. And then I'm going to thread on the jump ring with our little Celtic knot. Okay. But you've still got tons of room, right? You can fill this up with your own charms. If you've got other antique brass charms that you want to add to this, or just brass charms in general, they don't even have to be antique brass. You can put them on this because there's going to be plenty of room, right? So I'm going to come, let's see, just assuming that you've measured ahead of time, you know where you need your knots to be. We're going to do 2 things. We need to create a knot to separate our charms from our clasp section. So to do that, we're going to just do another overhanded knot. Whoops. Okay, so that's going to leave a large section here of our leather cord. Again, where we can add more charms. So you can see you've got a little section here to add your charms, but then we also need to leave a little section for our button, right? Because that's our clasp. So we want to create another knot, and we want to leave a space. Jessica says, oh, that's hilarious. I was just saying bomb diggity the other day because it makes my 11-year-old roll her eyes in disgust at me. Same. My 12-year-old feels the same way. Same way. So what we need here is we want to be sure that this little section right here is big enough to accommodate our button. So before you cinch that knot down, you just want to double check, make sure your button fits through there, right? And then you can pull that leather nice and tight, or you can pull that knot nice and tight. And you can trim off here if you want to as well. I mean, you can trim those all the way off if you want. You can add like a little dab of glue. I feel like you don't really need it, but you can. And then that's it. So this is a really easy to put together little charm style bracelet. Again, you've got some leather, an opportunity on the leather here to put together, or to, I'm sorry, add some more charms. You also have an opportunity here to add charms. It's got lots of movement because the charms are going to slide around on the leather section. You really can fill this up, and you're going to be able to adjust the length of this quite a bit with your piece of leather. Okay. So don't feel like this looks too small, because you definitely can adjust if you need to. And you can always add jump rings, guys. If you feel like when you get this and you put it together, it's just not long enough, no matter what you do, you can add jump rings in between these check glass rounds, and that's going to add some length to your bracelet as well. Super, super cute, right? So that's our first bracelet. Our next bracelet, just as easy. This one's in a different color green, though. This one is more of a minty green. We've got these beautiful imitation jade beads. So they're just glass. They're not gemstones, and are priced accordingly, because if I had jade beads in this bracelet, y'all, it'd be super expensive. But we're going to make a beaded chain out of our jade. We've got a beautiful lampwork bead as well in the same green. We've got two little kind of clovers here as our connectors, this one and this one. Those are going to go together. Let me just lay this out for you, actually. So we're going to do those two, our large lampwork bead. We're going to do our chain with our little jade beads, right? I've got a charm here, a little Celtic charm to add to that, and then I've got a check glass leaf here to add to this, because I gotta have charms, right? And that's pretty much it, you guys. That's pretty much it. So we're gonna put this one together. Again, that's what our Feel Good Friday shows are all about. Easy, instant gratification jewelry, right? So the first thing we're gonna do, though, we're gonna wire wrap our check glass leaf onto our connector, just to kind of get that out of the way, and then we'll work on our chain. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of wire included in your kit. I'm going to thread that through our check glass leaf. Now this guy is drilled through the front, so we're going to treat it like a briolette. Okay, we're going to wire wrap it just like we would a briolette. So I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to bend it, and then I'm going to crisscross those wires over the top of the bead to give it a little, like a little triangle over the top. Okay. I'm going to come in with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to bend one of those wires straight up and down, and then I'm going to bend the other wire out. So we're making like an L shape, if you will. Okay. And we're going to use that little tiny wire to wire wrap, or the shorter one rather. We're going to wrap around the straight wire about 2 times. Okay. So we're just making 2 little wire wraps, and then you're going to trim off that excess. Okay, now we're going to do a wrapped loop, and we're going to wrap this directly onto our connector. So I'm going to start a wrapped loop, and I'm just going to treat those 2 little wraps that we just did. I'm going to treat those just like they were a bead. So I'm going to place my chain nose pliers right over the top of those. Okay, we're going to bend the wire, and then we're going to come in with our round nose pliers to make a loop. I want my loop to be a little bit on the larger side, so I'm coming more towards the middle of the round nose pliers. We're going up and over. I'm going to rotate the pliers so that I have room to take that wire over for our loop. Now, before I do the wire wraps, I'm going to thread this on to our little connector. So I'm going to take the tail end of that wire, thread it through the center, and then very gently wiggle those 2 together. Okay. Coming in with my round nose pliers to hold on to that loop, and then we're going to wire wrap in that space. And this is really probably the hardest part of the entire bracelet, and it's really not even that hard, but you know what I mean. So the most technical part of the bracelet, I guess I should say. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our cutter tool, and we're going to trim off the excess wire. Okay. So now we have our little charm attached to our connector. And that connector is going to connect right next to this one. And we're going to use some jump rings to put that together. Oops. Just trying to make sure that I know which jump rings go where. I always have to refer back to the pictures, because this kit has both 4mm jump rings and some 6mm jump rings in it. So I'm going to use the 4mm jump rings here. to connect our key to the bottom of this little connector. Okay. And then I'm going to connect the two connectors together also with a 4mm jump ring. And then we'll work on our little beaded chain. I feel like I'm kind of doing this out of order, but the truth is that it really doesn't matter what order you put all of this together in. Okay. All right. So let's finish off our beaded chain and then we'll put all of this together. Okay. I love that. I think that's super cute. Okay, so we're going to start out with our lampwork bead. And because it is a large hole bead, we're going to put some silver beads on the end or on either end. So I'm going to thread that silver bead onto an eye pin. We're going to thread on our lampwork bead, and then I'm going to put another little silver bead in. Okay, and we'll just do a simple loop. So no need to make room for wraps. Bending the wire right where it is exiting the bead. We're going to trim off. And then we're using our our round nose pliers, goodness, to roll back. Okay, now he's ready to add. We have all of these. We need 3 more of these attached here. Now, you've got plenty of these beads. Some of you may not need all of them. Some of you may want extra length, and if you do, you're just going to need to add some jump rings. But I feel like I included enough beads here to accommodate a lot of sizes. So just adjust accordingly if you need a smaller bracelet. Okay, so we're doing just simple loops again with these. So bending the wire, coming in and trimming off, and then using our round nose pliers to roll back to close up our loop. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other 2 beads. And then we're just going to connect all of these to each other. So the rest of this really is just all about assembly. Okay, we've got one more to do. Kathleen, you're making me blush. Not Kathleen, Colleen. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Colleen's making me blush. Oh, goodness. Colleen's making me blush. She's talking about me being a good writer too, because somebody asked if I'd ever done a book. I've not done a book. And part of the reason that I have not done a book is because self-publishing is very, very time consuming. And I feel like in order to make it worth it, I would need to collaborate with somebody. So I would need to like convince Danielle and Sam and Nile for us to all put together a collaboration book together. Otherwise, the time constraint is it's just a lot for one person. And I haven't really approached them with that idea, but definitely something we should talk about. All right. So there's our little beaded chain. Now you'll notice no jump rings in between there. I was just opening and closing those simple loops that we already created and just put those together, right? Just no jump rings needed. But if you need extra length, you always can put jump rings in between here. Totally up to you. Okay. All right. So now the rest of this, like I said, is just assembly. And so we're going to use a jump ring. I'm going to put my clasp. Now you can put your clasp on either end. It doesn't matter really. I would love to put together a book. I really, really would. I just wish that I had the time to do it. And I say self-publishing because here's the thing. Books are, as much as I hate to say this because I love to read, but like physical books don't sell nearly as well as they used to, right? Because digital is the way everybody goes. Plus you've got access to free things on YouTube and, you know, here on Facebook and YouTube Live. Oh, I forgot our big bead. Oh my goodness. I'm just talking away, not paying attention to what I'm doing. And so publishing companies, they have to really be wowed in order to want to publish you. So most jewelry designers self-publish. Like all of the books that Nile has done, Nile has self-published all of his books because it's just easier to do it on your own. And of course, there's no middleman, but you get a lot of red tape with a publishing company, whereas when you are in charge of self-publishing, you ultimately get the say in all of it. And of course, you reap the benefits monetarily from it. So that's why self-publishing is definitely the way to go. But again, it's time consuming. So, and of course, you have to take all your own pictures. And I just don't have a nice enough setup to do my own photography, I don't think. I don't know. It's something I've always wanted to do. I just haven't done it. I don't know what projects I would include. So there's our bracelet. All this chatting is going on and we're putting together. Is it not beautiful? I love it. So for those of you who are not into like that deep, deep green, this minty green color is definitely the answer, you know, because I feel like green is one of those colors that everybody can wear. It goes with all skin tones, but not everybody is into deep green. And so this lighter green is definitely more along the pastel lines for sure. So pretty. So pretty. All right. So that was our second bracelet. I'm going to sit this one over to the side. Now we're going to focus on some earrings. Okay. I've got a couple of pairs of earrings to show you guys. I've actually got 3 different pairs. We're going to start with our super, super easy pair to put together. So this one there are 2 different listings. Noticing a theme here, shamrocks and our little Celtic knots. Like I've got St. Patrick's Day on the brain, and I feel like the earlier the better, because if you want to make some St. Patrick's Day jewelry, you're going to need these kits ahead of time, right? Because I know it's not March yet, but we got to get things done ahead of time. So this is the black and gold combo. There are some little black butterflies. There is our gold Celtic knot, and then our little black shamrocks. Super easy to put together. So that's the black and the gold. And then the other combo is antique brass and green. And we're going to put this one together. So it's got a green bicone, a little green rondelle, and a check glass leaf. And super, super easy to put together. Okay. So we're going to start out with wire wrapping our leaf and our rondelle to the bottom of our charm. So I'm going to thread on our leaf. I know Suzanne says there's Mardi Gras before then. I know. I haven't really given any thought to any Mardi Gras jewelry, but I totally should. I need to. All right. So there's our check glass leaf. We're going to thread on a rondelle. And then we're going to wire wrap this directly to that little component. So we're going to do a wrapped loop coming in with our chain nose pliers. We're bending the wire over the top of the chain nose pliers. That's going to give us the amount of space that we need in between there to make our wrapped loops. So coming in with our round nose pliers, taking that wire up and over the top barrel of the pliers. Now, again, with our wrapped loops, we got to make that loop, but I can't close that loop up with the bottom barrel of the pliers in the way. So in order to fix that, all I do is just rotate the pliers in my hand, and then I can guide that wire over to close up that loop. Okay. Now, before you do the wraps, you want to go ahead and attach this to our component. So take the tail end of that wire, thread it through the loop on the bottom of your component, and bring those 2 together. Hold your loop with your bent chain nose pliers, and then you're going to wire wrap in the space between that loop and the top of your bead. And it looks like I only have enough room for about 2 wraps here because my loop was a little wonky, but that's okay. It happens. So I'm going to trim off the excess wire. And then just tuck in where you've cut, right? And you've got your leaf attached to the bottom. Okay, now on the top here, we're going to do a simple loop. So I'm going to use an eye pin, open up the eye on the eye pin, thread that onto our component. Ooh, Susie said that could be the theme for our next hardwired projects. Yes. And what a great segue. Susie, you are so smart. So just a gentle reminder. Let's do a simple loop up here. Okay. So I'm going to just bend the wire. I don't have enough wire to do a wrapped loop. But great segue and gentle reminder that our hardwired group, you guys, is open for enrollment this week. I believe today's the last day. For those of you who are interested in joining the hardwired group, you know we only open up for new members once a month. And this has been the week. We've got a lot of new members, and we'd still like to have you if you're interested. Make sure that you go over to the group, apply to be a member. Are those not beautiful? I love these, and I don't know which one I love more, the gold or the antique brass. I love them both, to be completely honest with you. Those are just beautiful, simple earrings. But anyway, so the hardwired group is open for enrollment. Make sure that you go over and sign up to be allowed into the group. In order to get access to the group, you have to answer the questions. I cannot say that enough. You've got to answer the questions in order for us to send you an invoice so you can get paid up and get your access, because it's not free. You got to pay to play. But that being said, it's super affordable. You can pay two different ways. You can pay monthly or quarterly. If you pay quarterly, of course, you get a nice discount. But we have 2 lives a week, and we have special guests, and we just do extra fun stuff. So, all right. So those are our first pair of earrings. Okay, I'm going to set these to the side. We're going to move on to another pair of earrings. So these are fun. These are fun little leather and wire earrings. So let me show you what they look like. Just super boho, very trendy, cool little pair of earrings. So we've got this nice, really soft leather lace that is folded over and wire wrapped, 2 large rings, and then we have our beads here. We've got these beautiful check glass rondelles from Danielle. Guys, go check out Danielle Wick's shop. I've got more Danielle beads coming up here in just a second, so hang on for those as well. But yeah, and some of those little crystal bicones to give it a little extra bling. Super, super cute, and they're very lightweight. These are definitely like summer appropriate earrings for sure. All right, so what you're going to do is you are going to take your beads. Let's do our wire wraps on our beads first, okay? So we're going to take our rondelle here. We're going to thread it onto a head pin, and we're going to thread a metal bead on top of that. We're going to do a wrapped loop. So chain nose pliers. Oh, thank you, Avonda. I appreciate that so much. I've had lots of practice. All right, so I'm going to take the wire up and over the top barrel of the pliers, rotate the pliers, and take the wire over to the other side, and we're going to wire wrap in the space in between our loop and our bead. Okay, and then we're going to come in with our cutter tool and trim off the excess. And tuck in your wire. Always make sure you double check that little piece of wire, because that tiny little piece, if you don't tuck that in, that can get stuck in your clothing, get stuck in your hair. It's just not fun, right? So there's that guy. And we're going to put these little bicones on either side of it. So 2 of them are already done, but we're going to do 2 of them together. Now you got to be careful with the bicones, right? Because the bicones are very, they're soft and they're cut at such a way that you got to be careful not to crack the top of them when you're doing your wrapped loops. So just be mindful and make your bend in the wire. Come in with your round nose pliers. Okay, we're going up and over. Rotate, take the wire over to the other side, and then we're going to wire wrap in that space. Now, again, be careful, because the bicones, since they're smaller at the top, they're really easy to crack. So don't push. Don't do more wire wraps than you can do, right? If you can only get 3 or you can only get 2, don't push it. Okay. Then You want to come in with your cutter tool, and also be careful with your cutter tool because it's, you know, it's a hard, heavy duty tool. And if you snip at just the wrong spot, you're going to crack the top of that bead. So just be really careful, get as close to it as possible to make sure that you're not accidentally trimming your bead, right? That's not good at all. And carefully, carefully tuck that wire. Okay. And then we're just going to repeat that with another. Okay, so same steps, bending the wire over the top of the pliers, coming in with the round nose pliers. Going up and over, rotate the pliers, take the wire over to the other side, and then wire wrap in the space. And then you just want to trim off. And again, just be really careful. It helps if your cutter tool is nice and sharp too. That always makes a big, big difference. Don't forget to replace your cutter tools, guys. I buy the Beadalon. These are Italian cutters. They're expensive, but I got to tell you, they're worth every single penny because they last forever. So this is my flush cutter. I use it for almost everything. But even the Italian tools, they have to be replaced because after a while, your blade is going to get dull. So I encourage everybody to replace your cutter tool at least once a year or every year and a half. Just, you know, just for good measure. All right, so we've got to put all of this together. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use our little piece of leather here. Let's use this one. Okay, and we are going to take our leather and we're going to fold it over a jump ring. Okay, and then we're going to fold. So I'm kind of folding in half. Okay, then you're going to fold in half again, and you may have a little bit of a tail. That's all right. We're just kind of pinching all of this together. And if you've already made one, you definitely want to measure it against the other, just so that they're kind of the same length. And if they're not, just make your adjustments. They don't have to be exact, but you want them to be pretty close. You don't want one of them to be really long and the other one to not be. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do, holding that leather. So I just folded it twice, right? There's nothing really hard here. I just folded the leather twice. Now I'm going to take my piece of wire and I'm just going to wrap around to bundle that in the middle. Susan says, can you cut 16 gauge wire with your cutters? I can. I don't like to. I usually don't cut anything really heavier than, I try rather to not cut anything heavier than 18 gauge wire, but I can cut 16 gauge with this. But I do have a special cutter just for my thicker gauged wires. Just, you know, to save the blade. So again, just going to take this wire and you're just wrapping around like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, whatever makes you happy. Okay. And you can wrap with the top wire, wrap with the bottom, fold it in the middle. It's up to you. Okay. But you do want to decide what's the back because that's where your wire is you're going to finish off your wire. So this is going to be the front. This back here where I've stopped my wraps is going to be the back. Now I tuck in my wire. It's not a pretty process. You don't have to do this. Okay. You don't have to tuck in your wires, but I do like to do that if possible. So I trim my wire off so that there's just a tiny little bit left. And then I'll come in with my chain nose pliers and I'll bend that wire just like that. And I will do my best to tuck it underneath those wire wraps. Now, again, this is not a pretty process. And if you don't like the way that it looks and you feel like that's just too messy and ugly, just trim your wire off, you know? But I like to try to tuck it underneath those wraps if I can. And again, not a super pretty process, but and it marks up your wire big time, but you're gonna cut all that off, so it doesn't really make any difference. So you can see I'm just kind of tucking that in there. See how I tucked that under? Now I can trim off the tail of that piece and it's not going to stick out and get caught on anything. Then I'm going to just do the same thing with the other side. So I'm just going to take the wire and I'm going to bend it with my chain nose pliers. And then I'm going to tuck it as well, going the other direction. And you just do the best that you can. I mean, it's the back of the earring, so trim. And then you can kind of clean everything up just by squeezing everything with your pliers, right? And that just keeps everything from being loose. Now on the front, come back over here and just tidy everything up with your pliers because it's probably gotten a little wonky while you were doing that. But you've got your wire wraps, and then you can trim off the excess of the leather. Grab some scissors to do that. Suzanne says, when are the hardwired lives? So they're at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, but you can watch them on replay. They are on Tuesdays and on Fridays. All right, so we've got that little section done, right? Now the other section we're going to add our beads to. So we're going to take this large jump ring, we're going to open it up. We're going to thread on 2 bicones. We're going to thread on our check glass rondelle and then our other 2 bicones. Okay, and then we just want to thread that onto our leather. Close that jump ring back and add our ear wire. And that's it. These are easy too. I think probably the hardest part is just tucking in the wire in your leather. But again, you don't even have to do that. You can just trim it off. I just like to make sure that it's tucked in. I'm not going to get hung on anything. They're super fun and lightweight. These are definitely kind of beachy, summery, boho feeling earrings. Super easy. Super easy to put together and definitely lightweight. Love, love, love. You could do an entire bracelet with these little leather sections and the jump rings, another little leather section, a jump ring, and you could do an entire little bracelet to go with this. That would be super cute as well. But yeah, there you go. All right, I got one more set of earrings to show you guys, and I'm calling it a set because it comes in several different colors. And these, of course, are thanks to our dear friend, Danielle Wicks. Please go check out Danielle's shop. She has the most amazing beads. All right. These are super easy, but so pretty. I love them. Love them, love them. So it is some seed beads in some funky, fun colors with these check glass leaves. Okay. We're going to put these together. This is the one we're going to put together. This is the tan and green, but I have these in a bunch of different color combos. Okay. So there is purple and black. The seed beads are like purple and green and have a metallic flash to them. And the ear wires are hematite. The wire is hematite. So there are the black and purple. They're a little rock and roll, right? I've got teal, well, turquoise and black, which I also love. This is one of my favorite color combinations, is turquoise and black. So pretty. We've got this dark brown and green, which is a fun little combo. And then last but not least, our navy and green. They're so pretty. I love all of the little check glass seed beads. And then these leaves, these check glass leaves, Danielle, she's got some amazing taste in beads. All right, so we're going to put together, there are all of the color choices here, okay? So there are 5 different color choices in the same listing. We're going to put together the mate to this one, okay? So let me move these out of the way. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wire wrap our leaf. And because it's drilled across the top, we're going to treat it like a bracelet. So I'm going to thread it on. Whoops. I'm going to thread it onto our wire. Just like so. Okay. We're going to take the wire and we are going to bend it up to make our little triangle over the top of our bead. Okay. Chain nose pliers to take one of those wires and bend it straight up and down. Take the other one and bend it straight out to make that L, sort of like we did in our previous project today. Okay. Now we are going to grab and wire wrap. I'm going to wire wrap about 2 times. And then I'm going to come in and trim off the excess wire. Okay. Now I'm going to wire wrap above these wraps. So I'm just treating those wraps like they're beads. So I'm just going to place my pliers right above that last wrap, and I'm going to bend the wire over the top of my pliers. That gives me room for the rest of my wire wraps. I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers, take that wire up and over, rotate the pliers and take the wire over to the other side. And then I'm going to wire wrap in that space. And these wire wraps are going to meet up with the previous wire wraps. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to trim off. Hold on. There's room for one more wrap in there, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to trim off the excess wire. Okay. And I need to turn my loop. So my loop is facing me. I need to turn it sideways so that it is facing away from me so that I can thread it on to my earring. So I'm just going to grab it and just give it a twist. That's really all there is to that. And then just kind of pinch your wire wraps to tidy everything up. Okay. All right. So now super, super easy. We're going to take our wire and I'm going to thread on that leaf. Okay. And I'm going to do 10 beads on one side and 10 beads on the other side. So I'm just going to thread on my seed beads. Okay. So there's 10 on one side. And then I'm going to do 10 on the other side. And there's no real pattern here. It's just, you know, just thread them on however. Okay. So now all you got to do is just guide the wire into the shape that you want. And that part is super easy and it's super forgiving because you can always adjust it. So I'm going to take the beads, make sure they're in the center, and I'm going to guide the 2 wires, cross them over each other, right? Just doing a little crisscross. That's going to, or in the beginning, it's going to make a kind of a narrow teardrop shape. You just come in and kind of bulk it up with your fingers, right? Just kind of push it out to make the teardrop shape whatever you want it to be. And you can change it up. It doesn't have to be like mine. Okay. I'm going to take the 2 wires where they're crisscrossing. The wire that's coming across the front, I'm going to bend it to the back. The other wire, I'm going to bend it straight up and down. That's going to kind of lock those 2 wires together. I'm going to take the bottom wire and I'm just going to wrap around. I'm just doing like a little messy wrap, right? To lock that in place, I'm going to trim off the excess. I'm going to thread on one more seed bead and then I'm going to do a wrapped loop at the top. And that's literally it. We're going to add our ear wire to it. That's it. But that's what Friday is all about. Feel Good Friday, instant gratification jewelry. So I'm going to do a wrapped loop, bending the wire, coming in with my round nose pliers. We're going up and over, and taking the wire over to the other side. and then wire wrapping in that space. And we're going to come in with our cutter tool and trim off. Right? Colleen says this is her kind of seed bead project. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I do some seed beading, but I love it when I can mix my seed beads and my wire together. Those are my favorite kind of projects. All right, so then the only thing that's left to do is just add the ear wire. And these are super like boho, lightweight, good for spring, and all the color combinations. Like there's a color combo for everybody. So this one again is the tan and the green. So pretty. Just a reminder, there's the turquoise and the black. There's the purple and the black. The dark brown and the green. And then the navy and the green. Flannery says, yes, how to give plain earrings a little pizzazz. Indeed, indeed. All right, you guys. So that's it. That's all of our projects for today. I'm going to turn you around. We're going to do a little recap, and then I will let you guys go for the rest of the day. At least some of you. The Hardwired group, I'll be seeing you guys at 4:30 p.m. this afternoon. That's Eastern time. And all right. So just a little recap. Our macrame bracelet here is restocked in green. It is its own listing. However, the original listing still exists with one apricot and one red, unless they've sold out between the beginning of the show and now. But it's on December 17th, if you want to go back to watch how to put this one together. And it's just a leather and button project. You get all of the beads and all of the nylon and the leather to put this together. Super, super pretty. I love the green. Love, love, love the green. And then we got lots of green in the show today. So our green, our minty green bracelet with our little charms and our lampwork bead. Our deep emerald green charm style bracelet with the button. Whoa, button. This one's kind of hard to hold up, right? And all of the fabulous earrings. So we had the gold and black. We have the green and the antique brass. Those are so pretty. They're so pretty. I love that green. And we've got our leather and our check glass. These are also really fabulous. And if those are a little long, you can shorten up your leather piece in between there, right? And then last, of course, but not least, is all of these fabulous seed bead earrings that we just put together. Right? Those are super cool. They're very lightweight. So, so beautiful. Thank you to Danielle Wicks for these. Please go check out Danielle's shop and look at all of the other amazing beads that she has. She is also an amazing designer and a fantastic teacher. So she does Michael's classes like I do on the Michael's YouTube channel. And she comes from an artist perspective when picking out beads to put in her Etsy shop. So I feel like she gets color really well. So, so pretty. So there you go, guys. That's it for our Feel Good Friday show. I hope you have enjoyed today's show. Thank you so, so much for joining me and letting me be a part of your Friday. Don't forget that all of these kits are available for purchase in my Etsy shop. I get those packaged up for you over the weekends and put in the mail first thing on Monday morning. So I do my best. Also, just wanted to say something to everybody who got packages over the past 2 weeks. I had ran out of those inspirational cards that I include in all of my shipments. So if you've gotten something from me over the past 2 weeks, there are no cards included, but I just want you to know that I just got all of the cards restocked. So now all the orders this week will have those cards in them. And I didn't realize how much you guys love those until I started seeing people posting about those little inspirational cards that I include and like how they make them feel and like how they kind of affect their their day, you know? And so it's just a sweet little way that I can send some encouragement your way. And I know that you guys love them and appreciate them. So I'm going to keep sending them. I just ran out. So yeah, Karen says, I was wondering what happened to them. I just ran out. I ran out, but now I have them again. So don't worry. All right. Yeah, Danielle has a Michael's class today, you guys. Nicole just posted. So if you want to go check out Danielle's class, please do so. I don't have another Michael's class until the 12th of this month, but yeah, just I'll keep you posted on that. Wanda says she saves all of her Sara thank you cards. I love that. I love that so much. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hardwires, I will see you guys at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you're interested in joining the Hardwired group, please go and ask to be a part of that group and answer all the questions. We'll get you signed up. We'll get you invoiced and we'll get you in. Okay. All right, guys. If I don't see you between now and next week, have an amazing weekend. Go make yourself something beautiful and find some time to rest and relax. And I'll see you guys again soon. Okay. Bye, guys.